You're live.
Okay, so we'd like to welcome you to Fabric Chicks Live on Mondays. On Mondays we always try to have a demo. So, bye, Elise. See you tomorrow. So we try to teach you something. So in our frazzled state, we have a few techniques to show you today. So I don't know. I know if you're on, just go ahead and say hello and where you're from. I finally have Roger here. He's not been here for a few Mondays, so I haven't been able to demo how to put in the zipper. So he's here. So I'm going to hopefully Sherry is going to be tuning in. But we have a zipper demo, and we have some what to do's and what not to do's, and we also have a demo for pine needles and tree trunks. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Sandy. It's good to see you, Sandy. I'm glad you are out and about. Let's see. Hi, Sherry. Okay, thank God, Sherry, you're on, because I'm going to actually sew the zipper today, except for Roger just walked away. So I think he probably went to lock the door. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to turn the air on because you guys always make me hot. So I was fine until we went live. So let me turn the air back on. Okay, so we have a couple of demos. We have the zipper demo, which we should just get out of the way because I'm not great at it, but it's not that hard. So I kind of figured that you could make this pouch any size you wanted because we did an exchange through Fabric Chick Stitch Along. And all the pouches were mostly the same size, but a little bit different. Rondi sent me this one. Thank you, Rondi. So Rondi put tabs on either end of them and a little string in the zipper. And Connie made me one. I just had it. Let's see. How many things can I lose here? Oh, here it is. So Connie Wiggins made me this one. But you can see they're a little bit different shaped, but using the same pattern. So here's one, and here's one. So you can see one's quite a bit bigger. One has two squares across, and one has one square across. So it gives you some options. But I decided that because I needed to practice before I actually sewed this one for you guys. I just took two pieces of fabric. I actually took two fat quarters, and I just quilted them really fast. Roger's left to answer the phone, so I'm going to get up close. So I just quilted it super fast with two fat quarters instead of piecing it, just so I could practice putting the zipper in. And I figured it wouldn't matter because no matter what, we would be able to make any size pouch. Although, looking at this, I'm not really sure what I would put in this pouch. And I will tell you, there are some don'ts or pay really a lot more attention than I paid to the directions. Actually, in the directions, it says, open up one of your corners and form a triangle. Well, I didn't really know what that meant. I mean, I do if I was thinking about it, but I was rushing for this demo. So I just sewed a triangle right across. Don't do that. Don't do that. You have to open it up so that you get this little box square. So for me, I've never really made tote bags. So this is a whole new experience. I've never really put in zippers, so it's a whole new experience. So I'm kind of like a virgin at this. So what we did for the Fabric Chicks exchange is we cut 2.5-inch blocks, or we used like a little mini charm pack, the 2.5-inch squares, and we sewed 5 of them across and 8 of them down. So you're just going to piece that just like you would a quilt, and then you're going to quilt it. I just zigzagged because, that way if you don't sew straight, nobody knows. And I just literally did not do too much quilting there, as you can see. I had the perfect cream zipper, but when I went to find it for this demo, I couldn't find it. So now we have a really nice rust one. So you're going to pin it face down. So see, my zipper is face down on the right side of my fabric. And I'm going to stitch right along here, okay? So I pinned it if I had straight pins, it would be a lot better. I mean, actually straight pins, not bent pins. I'm going to sew right along here. And I didn't find my zipper foot, but Peggy says I don't need it. So I'm going to show you in case you don't have time to go looking for your zipper foot, or maybe you don't have one. You're just going to line it up here right along the edges. So there's the edge. I did do a zigzag. If you're going to do a zigzag for a more finished edge like this, you're going to want a smaller zigzag. I didn't pay attention when I did this one because literally this took me 10 minutes. I didn't pay attention, but I just did whatever zigzag was on my machine. And it's not that nice of a zigzag. So you want to make your zigzag smaller. So I'm glad I could be here to teach you what not to do. But you're just going to line this up and be a little bit careful because I don't have a zipper foot. So it's, you just want to be a little bit careful that you don't hit your zipper, okay? And I'm just lifting up my presser foot a tiny bit to get it. Oops, this one, the last one I sewed went really nicely and I didn't have any issues with the zipper. Okay, let me try it this way and see if I can get it to go. I know that we got it. Oh my God, I just put in the other zipper without any problems. Okay, I think we're over the hump. So you're gonna just sew it like this, 1/4 of an inch. You don't have to really worry too much about back tacking because that's gonna be in your final seam. But once you get that first 1/4 inch sewn, you're going to, and if you have a zipper foot, I would assume that it's much easier. I've never actually sewn it with the zipper foot, so I'm not sure. But then I'm going to flip this. So that's what I just sewed. I'm going to flip this over like this. So if I was doing it professionally, I'd probably iron it with some steam to get it to lay flat. But I'm just pushing it back on itself. So this is where I just sewed. I just sewed the 1/4 inch, and I'm going to flip it down like this and do a top stitch. That will help it so that the zipper won't get stuck. So all these years you've been afraid of zippers. You don't have to be anymore. But you do want to remember, whoops, oh, I need that foot for in a minute. You do want to remember, so here it is. I've just top stitched right along here. If I had my zipper foot, I'm sure it would come up closer to the teeth. But honestly, I don't think that's going to bug me. And then I'm going to flip this up like this. But in a second, before I do the sides, you're going to want to make sure to unzip it. But for right now, it's fine. So I'm just going to line this up with the tote bag. And I'm going to put some pins in it because you're watching. If you weren't watching, I would be able to just do it, piece of cake, without any problems. And somewhere I have good pins, but not here. All the pins here get used for weird stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to do that same 1/4 inch stitch. So now the right sides are in here. And I'm just sewing my...
No, do that again. I didn't get it.
So I've got my two right sides together. I just folded the bag in half with the right sides on the inside. And I've lined up the zipper with the top of the bag or the edge of the quilt. Because basically all this is a glorified little quilt. And then right here, I'm going to have a little bit of problems because I've got the zipper. And then I'm going to top stitch it again so that the zipper won't get stuck when I actually use it. So I'm going to pull it inside out for now. And you can totally tell here, you can see how where it's top stitched, it lays nicely. And where it's not top stitched, that's going to get caught in the teeth. See how if you don't top stitch it, it'll get caught in your teeth. So I'm going to sew from, I guess, this side. Let's see, how did I do this? I just did it like a half hour ago. I think I unzipped it so that I could sew it without problems. I know it's so much trickier when you're all watching. And when Roger's not reading me the comments. But I will say that it was much easier with the big bag. Okay, let's see here.
You want me to read comments?
Okay, so I'm just going to stitch down here. And I'm going to move the bag out of the way so I don't stitch over myself, hopefully. This is probably why I don't do zippers, because you have to put some thought into it. Let's see. I hope I'm not stitching on it. I don't know when oops, my thread broke. When Joanne was here, we just whipped these out. Okay, hang on a second. Let me rethread my machine. I was going to.
Carolyn Gavrinich says that I've been using my 1/4 inch foot to put in zipper. It works fine.
Yeah, I think so, Carolyn. And honestly, when Peggy made my pouch for me, we didn't have a 1/4 inch foot because we'd taken a machine to a show. So we just had to make do. So I'm sure it's fine. You just want to make sure you get this top stitch down nicely.
Mary Vitti wants to know if you're sewing on a Juki.
No, this is my crappy Janome that Tony won't even service because I let a customer borrow it and they shoved the reverse button in so far that it broke it. But it still sews straight. So it's been sewing straight, hasn't been serviced, and I use it for almost every demo I ever do. It's like the indestructible machine. It just won't break. Well, I mean, it's broken, but it won't die. But he said it would be more to service it than it was worth. But this little machine has just, it's kind of like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going. Okay, so there is that. The zipper's in. So now I'm going to close it. And it's top stitched. I could cut all these threads, but I'm going to pull it back inside out now. And this is where it gets tricky. This is where I totally screwed it up. So you want to box the corners. But what I did with this one, it was a blonde moment. Okay, everybody has them. I just sewed straight across. If you sew straight across, you're going to get this really cute little look, kind of like an octagon, but not. So you're going to get that cute little look, as opposed to if you do the box that is going to be more like this. I'm not really sure what this weird size bag could do. So if I was going to use fat quarters, I would cut them in half. Because if you cut them in half, you would have had a bag that size, which would have been much better. Although if you wanted to put paintbrushes or something in this, I guess that would be good. Or, I don't know, long sticks or something. You could use the flex foam and make it stiffer and then use it in your drawers as dividers to keep, like, you know, your underwear in a row or something, if you were that kind of an organized person. We all know I'm not.
What? Several comments saying to unzip it.
Unzip it for what? Oh, before me to
Dennis said it would be easier to open the zipper.
No, you have to. If you sew the sides and the zipper's closed, you're going to cry. So you have to. So I'm going to sew across here. Sherry, you already know how to do this. You should have taught the demo.
Carolyn said open the zipper again and sew across both sides before boxing the corners.
Okay, I am. I don't know if Roger's videoing that, but that's what I'm doing right now. I know I didn't do it on the last one, and I was sorry. Okay, so then I'm going to, look, it's open. It's open so that we can turn it inside out. If you don't open the zipper at this point, when you sew this across, your zipper is going to be on the inside and you're not going to be able to open it. Okay.
Anna Simpson says I'm curling iron.
Oh, it would be good for a curling iron. It would have been even better if we used that that heat resistant stuff. So when you go to a hotel, you can put your curling iron in it and it won't burn it. Because you know you're always curling your hair like at the last minute before you leave.
Queen Bee says don't forget to read the YouTube comments too.
Okay, Roger, you have to read those to me.
What?
Queen Bee, usually I'm at the computer so I can read them, but when I'm sewing, it's hard. Okay, so I've sewn across here and I've sewn across here. I've sewn across the bottom and I've sewn across the top. Now I'm going to box it like this. So when we box it, we're not just sewing. This is what I did earlier when I was trying to do the demo, when I was trying to figure it out. I just sewed across here because that's kind of what the pattern says. But you really want to box it like this. So you want to fold it like this with the triangle. And then I'm just going to, probably if you were you would measure it. I'm just going to line it up with my stitch plate so that they're all the same width. So literally, you can see that you can make these super quick without too much trouble. So they make cute gifts. So I'm just boxing it here. I'm going to show you slowly. I'm boxing it here so it's a triangle, okay? And I'm going to do that to all four corners. And then I'm just lining it up with my stitch plate here, but you might want to measure it and mark it. And then this one here, I'm going to pull it out like this into a triangle. And then I'm going to put it right here. And for any of those of you who would like to volunteer to demo, you can always let me know because you can set up your camera to demo from your house. I can host you. So that would be super fun to have guests. Okay, so then here I'm going to box the last one and get ready to be really amazed. Okay, so they're all boxed, okay? And my zipper is open. If my zipper wasn't open at this point, I would cry and you would cry along with me. So we're just going to turn it inside out real quick. And if you're in the 7-panel wonder class this week, just type it in so I can make sure that I've got you registered. I'm going to send the Zoom link after this video. And if you've been in the 7-panel class before and you haven't finished your project and you want to join us, just let me know and I'll send you the link also. Okay, so look at how cute that is. So it's a little boxed purse. I could have put a tab on it and the zipper just zips very nicely like that. Super simple. Anybody can do it. Okay, then I have, just because I always like to show you guys what I'm working on. So I have the local fish hatchery asked me if I could quilt a block for them. So I thought they meant they were just going to bring me an 8-inch block and I just had to throw it on the long arm and quilt it real quick. But obviously that's not what they meant. They need me to design a block like this. or something, except for the lady's very particular, and she wants Lahontan Lake here in the desert where it meets Lake Tahoe. So she wants me to basically combine those two and make sure the fish is colorful, and then all in 8 inches. So that's why I've got all of my techniques out here. And for those of you who followed us for a while, you know that this is kind of what our passion is, my passion is, and what I like to do. So I'll do a treat like this, and with pine needles, and then water for the lake. So it won't take me very long, but just so you guys, I don't know how many of you are new and haven't seen us demo pine needles, but I thought that would be an easy one to demo today. So if you don't know, I'm one of those who says everybody needs a binder with techniques. So anytime you learn a technique, you should go make the sample and put the sample in here so that you can reference it. Like maybe a sample on how to sew a zipper or something. I don't know, just an idea. Mine's a mess because I just used it for teaching up in Reno. But so literally I pull all my samples out, pass them around the classroom. But this is basically, hopefully I've got enough tree trunk here so that I don't have to make a tree trunk. But I always try to keep all my leftovers from any project because I'll use them in another project. So here, I might use this tree trunk, whatnot, who knows. But what we're going to do real quick is show you how.
You might want to read your comments.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to read the comments because Roger says that I need to. Apparently he can't read them to me. Joanne, when I end this, call me because Kim Gilliland is going to bring your basket to you and get you set up so you'll be ready for the 7-panel wonder class on Friday. Okay, let's see. Idea for a larger bag. Wrap a wine bottle in bubble wrap and put it in your truck to lug it. Oh, Kathleen, I love you. That would be perfect for this. It is perfect. So I'm going to fix these 2 corners and then I'm going to make it into a wine bag. Then whoever gets it can use it for whatever they want. It would be good for rulers, except for it's not really, like, I think you'd want to make it a little bit wider so that your rulers would fit in it. But maybe a 6-inch ruler might fit in it. It's a good thing to keep everything in the same spot. Did you guys see the suitcase? I think Christy posted it. I don't know who posted it. But somebody took a vintage suitcase and they made a contraption so all their tools are strapped to the lid and then their fabrics are all lined up in the suitcase. It was so cute. Bubble wrap and a large Ziploc just so it doesn't break. Good. I've been using 1/4-inch foot. Hey, Mary Beatty. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think, good job. What comments? Joanne, did Kim already come to your house? I was supposed to call you before she got there. Okay, that looks like the hardest part of the whole project. What, the squares? The squares or the zipper? Or maybe, Lynn, it was sewing all the squares together. Probably took the longest time. Okay, perfect. Mary Beatty, what is a curling iron? You crack me up. Okay, let's see. Use a quilted place. Oh, that's a good idea. But will the placemat be too big? Well, if you use a placemat, Carolyn, will it end up being like big like this? Or can you cut it in half so you have smaller pouches like this? Sue, it's from 10 to 3 on Friday. Okay, so if any of you are in the 7-panel wonder class and you have questions, let me know, but I will be sending out an email with a little bit of things you can do ahead of time. But if you're coming into the shop, I do need to know ahead of time so I can get this hot mess cleaned up. Okay, well, I'm going to have to try a placemat. Although, Carolyn, I think it's a little bit funny that for those of us that sew, we're going and buying placemats already made to make into bags. Okay, Sue, I already added you to the class because I thought you had been in it. Okay, let's see. I think I've got all the comments. Okay, so I think I've got all the comments. If not, it's hard when I'm demoing. So anyway, so I'm going to take, for pine needles, I'm going to take, and I don't know how many of you guys have already watched me do all of these because I have demoed them quite a few times, but I know that you need refreshers sometimes. So to make pine needles, it's super easy. This is what it's going to look like finished. So you can see they're very dimensional. Sometimes I'll have them hanging off of a quilt. So they're super simple, but it looks like it's super complicated. But really, all you need is a piece of tulle. I like to use black tulle because black is always going to be a shadow. You could use blue if you were using a blue sky, but sometimes it might not be the right blue. But you know black is safe. So I have a piece of wash away and I have a piece of tulle. And if I was doing a lot for a big project, I would take a big piece of wash away and a big piece of tulle. And for this, I like thicker thread because if the thicker your thread is, the less you have to do. And you know me, I'm always looking for an easy way. So real quick, I'm going to change my foot. So you're going to want a free motion foot. I don't really care what's in the bobbin. Honestly, whatever's in the bobbin, I'm probably going to leave. Because you're most likely, if you have good tension, you're not going to see it. So I'm just going to put on my free motion foot. This is what a free motion foot looks like. You should all have one. If you don't have one, order one from your sewing machine person, your dealer or whoever. And then, oops, let me get the screw. Okay, so you're going to, the free motion foot you can use to quilt. Oh, I know, 1,000 eyes are watching. Okay, let me, whoa. Okay. You didn't know it could be so complicated, did you? Okay, let me concentrate here. Roger could show you the Hollyhock Quilt behind him. Okay, I've got it almost ready. So the Hollyhock class behind you, the Hollyhock Quilt, that's a class with Virginia Robertson. July 18th, it's the third Mondays of the month at 9 a.m. I know that's early for you, Mary Beatty, but it's going to be worth it to wake up. So if you're not familiar with Virginia Robertson, she is one of literally, she's one of the founders of the quilting world. She's opened up her shop, one of the very first quilt shops in the United States. Well, anywhere really, in this late 70s, I think. I could have my information wrong, but I believe the late 70s she opened up. And she was in a church. She's been all over. She's had her shop several places. But she's designed fabric for companies. There really isn't anything in the quilting world that she hasn't done. So being able to spend some time with her is going to be a big treat. It'll be the best $20 you ever spent. Okay, so And you can make it as small or as big as you want. As you can see, we've got a small one there and a bigger one. So you could get started and then decide, learn the techniques and decide that's as big as you want to make it, or you can keep going. Okay, so I've got my free motion foot on, and then people always want to know what stitch length. The stitch length is just how fast you move, okay? So you are your stitch length. You are your regulator. So I've got the wash away on the bottom. I've got the tulle on the top. You honestly don't need the tulle because you're stitching over it so much. But I'm worried that I won't catch my threads. And then when I wash away the wash away, I'm just going to have one big long piece of thread. So I always use tulle. So I'm going to pick up my bobbin thread just so I don't get a mess under there. And then I've got 12 weight threads. So I'm going to start at the edge, and I'm just going to make my stick first. And sometimes I'll just have a stick with no green leaves. So I'm just getting a base down. I have Wonderful 12 weight. So, oh, look at that. Only on a live demo does your needle fall out. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think that it vibrates so much that it just unscrews itself. Okay, no worries. Continue on. So if you look here real close, like I didn't go exactly over it, but it's not gonna matter, okay? So you just want to start coming in and making your tree limbs. And remember, nothing in nature is going to be straight or even, or like you could draw it out if you wanted with a Sharpie because it's going to wash away, but there's no need to. And then say I'm going to make a ton of these because I've got a big project. I'm just going to come over here to the side and then just go up. And if it bunches over on itself like this, you don't care because it's going to wash away. So literally, you're just willy-nilly it, and don't sew over your fingers. Okay, so there's my tree branch so far. So there's my tree branch. And then really, I would sew more because I wouldn't want to waste my tulle and my wash away. Everything's expensive, so you got to make sure you save where you can. I know, but I'm crazy because I will go through the trash after you're here for a class, and I'll pull out people throw away big pieces of steam-a-seam, and they throw away big chunks of fabric already fused to the steam-a-seam. So, I have to pull that out and use it for another project.
Okay, can I read some of this?
Yeah, can you read it? I would love for you to read some of the comments.
Okay, those needles look so realistic. That's Carolyn Reichlevick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mary Vitti, Beth, is that a minion pin cushion next to you?
That is. Cindy Thompson made that for me years ago. He's missing an eyeball, but yes.
Okay, June Sterling. Oh, she's sorry that she's late. And
Oh,
then
that's
Mary
okay.
Vitti, did you say up or down feed dogs?
So I always leave my feed dogs up. One, because I'm a blonde and I forget to put them down or move them up. Actually, I like them better up because it gives me more control. So you have to check, you have to experiment yourself, Mary Vitti. You have to actually try it yourself so that you can know what you prefer. A lot of the newer expensive machines, if you put your darning foot on, or your free motion foot, it forces you to lower your feed dogs. So it depends on your machine and it depends on your preference. I never lower. I couldn't even tell you where on this machine. Well, right here, I can tell you that's it. But I honestly would have probably never switched that. But I would assume that's my feed dogs.
Carolyn G says, I don't lower my feed dogs and it works fine for me.
Yeah, most people that do this for art quilting don't lower their feed dogs. Okay, so then I'm just going to start here at the base, and I'm going to pull my thread up so I don't get a knot, only because I don't want my machine to be even more angry. So I just start right at the base, and I'm just going to come up like this and just kind of go off. And sometimes with the variegated thread, I'll get too much of the same color in one spot. So I'll go back. Oops, I broke my thread. So I might not have the right needle in, but you get the idea. So that's what you're creating. Then when you wash away the wash away, I should have, in a perfect world, a sample in my, oh, there should be in here somewhere a sample of it. Oh, here you go. So this is what it's going to look like when you have sewn it. So you do have the option. You could mark it with a Sharpie like this. And then that's what it looks like. You can make different kinds of pine needles if you want. And then when you wash away and tear away all the wash away, you're going to end up with a little pine tree like this. And this has been kind of through the ringer. So see, I used like a gray in my bobbin, but that's what it looks like for the pine needles. So I'll post in the Fabric Chick Stitch Along, I'll post whatever this fish hatchery thing looks like. And then if any of you want in your baskets, just put in there that Sherry says she lowers her feed dogs because it makes it easier to move around. I think that would probably be true, Sherry, for like quilting, but for this kind of stuff, you don't have the bulk of 3 layers. So I don't think you necessarily need to, and it's very slippery. So I would try it both ways. If making a lot of bags for gifts, Dollar Tree sometimes has cute placemats. Oh, that's a good idea, Kathleen. Although I'll tell you, I went into the Dollar Tree, although I did spend $87 looking for something to put my Christmas trees in that we made in the Zoom a couple weeks ago. But they, I ended up spending $87 on I don't know what. It's kind of like when you go into Target, you come out with 6 bags of you don't know what. But our Dollar Tree looked like, like the shelves were empty. It was a mess. I'm sure they're understaffed and don't have enough. They don't have enough people to stock the shelves. Okay, so let's see. What else did I miss?
And Linda Meyer wants to know, are you doing landscaping at the retreat?
And Linda Meyer, yes. If you want to do landscaping, I have several people that are going to. If you want to do your own picture, then let me know ahead of time so we can get your picture blown up, because it's probably going to be less expensive to get it blown up, not in Tahoe. So let me know if you want to do that. Do you sell the black tulle? I do sell the black tulle, Mary Beatty, except for that I'm all sold out at the moment. But I will get you some. I know I have some upstairs. Hey, Raylene, how are you? Using Sharpie on the wash away, the Sharpie disappears. Yes, because Kathleen, what happens is, so this is the Sharpie on the wash away. When you wash this, when you put it under the sink, all of this dissolves. So all the white that was your stabilizer dissolves. That's why it's called wash away. And then you just have the tool. And then I pick the tool apart like this. I just pick it all away to get as little tool as possible so that when it goes on to your project, see here how you can, if Roger gets up close, you can still see some tool, because I didn't really pull it away as much as I would now. I mean, I made this project, I don't know, 10 years ago. So I would pull more of that tool away, but it kind of stabilizes it actually, so it doesn't crinkle up as much. So I might leave it because I do think it stabilizes it. But the wash away and the Sharpie will just be gone. I will get that for you, Mary Beatty. Then how do you attach the pine needles to the project? So I would lay this right here. Say I want to put pine needles right here. I would pin this. I would just pin this here onto my project, and I would just stitch down the main branch. So you can see here on this one, see how it's not stitched here? I just stitched right down the center of it. It looks like I might have stitched out onto this leaf because it might have been too floppy. So you can see how these are all dimensional. So I did kind of go down a little bit down the main just so that they would be secure. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I answered all of your questions. If you guys want, I do have handouts for Minky. They sent me a ton of them. So if you want, just put in there in the comments Minky, and then I'll put these in your baskets. It's for combining cuddle and cotton. So it gives you tips and tricks on how to sew Minky and cotton. So I know back in the day, way back in the day, we did a little baby quilt with some vintage Western fabric from Michael Miller. And we sewed Minky in the four corners where the kids would be touching it. And then we sewed the cotton cowboys in the, we basically made a 9-patch. So the 4 cowboys, and then in the center we put a jean pocket that we cut out of pants so that they had a little pocket out of jeans. So if you want the Minky info for how to, it says binding your quilt with cuddle on one side and then combining cuddle and cotton. I'll get those into your baskets. And then all we have left is freebies. Okay, June, I love it because Spell Check probably does not like Minky, so they put Kinky for June. And June, I'm just going to tell you, we don't have any Kinky handouts today, but I'll work on it. And I only have 60-inch wide red. So I was going to call you about that. I have your basket ready, but let me know it's 60-inch red. Otherwise, I have to order if you want the 90-inch red Minky. Do you have a YouTube video on enlarging patterns? We've totally talked about it before, Kathleen, but let me just show you because I've got the binder down here. In a perfect world, it would be the very first page because when I teach this as a class, we do this very first. Okay, hang on a second. I know it's here somewhere. Well, definite maybe. I don't know at this point. I always have to put this whole binder back together. It's probably upstairs. So I can show that next Monday. But basically what you're going to do, I'll just give you a quick overview on enlarging your patterns. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a pattern like this with your photo. And you're going to put it into a protector sheet like this. Hang on a second, I'm going to do it. On the fly demo. So you're going to put your photo 8.5 by 11 into a protector sheet like this. And with a fine Sharpie, you're going to draw around everything. And it's probably in my suitcase, I would guess. So you're going to draw around everything. So you would draw like right here, you would draw the mountains, the shape of the mountains, and then you would draw the lake right here. And then like this as a tree with nothing on it. Although when you get to the trees, you're going to ad-lib them anyways, but you definitely want the outline just so you know the size for reference. And then once you have it all drawn with your Sharpie, if you take it and put the paper reversed so that you're actually drawing with your Sharpie on the protector sheet. So when you turn your white sheet around, your whole black Sharpie drawing is going to be here. And then you take it to your printer. You want to find a printer that does blueprints because they won't charge very much. If you take it to Office Depot or Staples, they usually charge like $10 or $12, which is a lot. If you take it to your print shop, they usually charge like $2 or $3. And so I just take it to the guy down the street who does blueprints, and I just tell him I need it this big by this big, because I have no idea. Like, I could tell you I want it enlarged 183%, but I have no idea what that actually means. So I just tell them like this big by this big, and then they figure it out for me. Okay, let's see. What else do I have? Okay, I'll put the cuddle in. I will take. Okay, perfect. And what do we need to do to prepare for the first Virginia Robertson class next Monday? I don't think you have to actually do anything, but
Pay money.
Carolyn already paid money.
That was a joke.
But now that you say it that way and that it's next Monday, I got a lot to do. No, I don't think you have to do anything because it's going to be kind of a welcome overview for the next year of classes. And she's going to be talking about like color. We had a syllabus that I posted. I wouldn't worry about getting all your supplies right up front because you might decide you don't want to do circles, and then you won't need the Perfect Circle Maker by Karen K. Buckley. Or you might decide you don't like dressed in plates, and so you're not going to add those to your quilt. So I would just join on Monday and then kind of get an overview and go from there. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to do a few giveaways. I haven't really had time. Did you guys see the quilt that I quilted? She already picked it up, so I can't show it to you. And I did not take any pictures of it, but it was that Judy Niemeyer with, like, the first block had 96 pieces in it. But it took me 15 hours to quilt it. And if you know me, that is a lot. I like the quilts that I can just freehand. I like the quilts I can freehand really quick. But the straight lines and the points of the Judy Niemeyer, unless you're doing ruler work on your long arm, they're super hard to do. So I'm glad that it's over with. It really did turn out great, but I'm glad it's done. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys want, well, I'm going to give those away a different day. Okay, so I've got a couple of books. I've got Patchwork and Quilting. And for those of you who don't necessarily need older books because you're like, oh my gosh, the colors are so crazy, it's still got a lot of good patterns in there. So I might not necessarily like that colorway of like the poopy color, but those are some cute patterns. If you can get beyond the colors, there are some really great patterns in there. So if you guys want it, just type in you want the Patchwork and Quilting book, because I know, Raylene, it is a good book, but you have to be able to look past the 1970s colors. So if you want it, type it in, because I don't want you to pay for shipping on something you don't actually want. So just type in Patchwork and Quilting and I'll know you want that. Then I just had to show you because Phyllis cleaned out her sewing room and she brought us a ton of stuff, magazines and books and all kinds of stuff. But this was one of the very first books I ever made a quilt from. It's called Little Quilts All Through the House. This was, when I started quilting, this was the in thing, along with Debbie Mom. So, I mean, look at this. Look at those girls. The hairdos, their vests. You just got to love them. Anyhow, so this is a really cute book. It'd be really fun in maybe some more modern colors. Let me see. I'm trying to find. I did make a heart quilt that hung in my bathroom for many years. I don't know where it is now. I'll have to go find it. And then I made So if you want this, just type it in. I made an overall, well, it wasn't this one. It was, there's an overall Bills one in here. Oh, I see them there. But here's cute little pin cushions. Those are adorable. Or you can make them into those pillows that are popular now to go in baskets. Anyways, you get the idea. I don't know where overall Bill went. He's somewhere in here. So if you want this Little Quilts book, type that in. Carolyn, I think we all had this book back in the day. Okay, Lynn Bonner, I'm not going to ship it to you, but I'm going to put it in your basket. For unless you want it in New Jersey, I'm going to put it in your basket. For any of you who started quilting like in the 90s, 91-ish is when I think I started quilting. Well, I made a quilt back in 4-H in the 80s probably, but 90s is really when I got into quilting. And this, like, oh my gosh, you remember the day. We don't even, well, I don't know about you. I don't even like those colors anymore. Okay, I have some Christmas appliques if you want to cut these out and put them onto pillows or something fun. If you want this, this is what the gnomes were made out of. So I just hate throwing them away because they are cute little appliques. If you want the Christmas appliques, just type in appliques. And then, let's see. There's not much in here because we haven't had much time to do anything. I have some gold trims here. I've got Jane Massengill. I need a pen that actually works. Okay. Jane, maybe a Sharpie. Must have wax on it or something. Oh, Roger just threw a pin at me. Okay, let's see. What are you going to make, Anne? With her red minky? I think it's a backing on something. Okay, so then I've got some purple trim. Let's see. I've got Carol Reichlick. Carol. And then, if you guys can tell me who the host is for Wild Wednesday, I've got 3 notebooks. So who's the host for this Wednesday? Just so you know, Raylene and I alternate. So you have to think back to last Wednesday and who was the host. If you're not familiar with Wild Wednesday, we do it on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We interview 3 other vendors or 3 other shops. And it's kind of like a little mini quilt show in your living room. The dates are not every Wednesday anymore. We did it every Wednesday for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. But it's not every Wednesday, but you can go to the website and you can see what days we are. We will be live this coming up Wednesday. So if you can tell me, good job, Cindy Gygax and Raylene. Although Raylene, or Sherry, you might already have one of these because I think, didn't you come to the after party? Okay. Laura, you are wrong. I'll save it for next time though, because now you guys all know if you're reading the comments. But I do have a keychain, and it says I was there Wild Wednesday live after party March 2022. So if you need a keychain, let me know, and just type in keychain, and we'll put that in. Otherwise, I've got nothing for you. We don't have that many good goodies because we haven't had time to clean because I spent 15 hours this weekend quilting. So that's all we have for today. We will see you guys Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm hoping, I'm not making any promises at this. Karen has been out for 2 weeks because Warner had surgery, and she's going to be out for like 3 more weeks, she said. So I'm pretty much running the front and trying to pay bills because, you know, bill collectors don't like it when you don't pay them. So, okay, Mary Beatty, I'm going to give you, it's glow in the dark, so you won't lose it. It actually isn't glow in the dark, but it looks like it is. Okay, so this is, I don't know my screen went black. Did your screen go black?
No.
Okay, so if you guys can still see, I'm going to try to get a sample of these placemats made so that I can demo those. Look at how cute they are with the scalloped edges. I'm not even really sure. This pack includes 2 panels of interface placemats. This one includes 2 panels of interfacing to make placemats. So I'm not really differences. This one is much thicker. One. I don't know. I'll have to open them up to. Okay.
And it's back.
All right. So that's all we have because the internet is acting crazy. So we will see you guys sale on Wednesday just because we have to get the classroom ready for our class on Friday. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Done. We want to see show and tell on we want on Wild Wednesday Live's page, but we also want to see it on the Fabric Chick Stitch Along. Okay, have a good evening. See you later. Bye.